how are you using AI in your business today, and what can you do to improve your use of AI? AI is not going anywhere. In fact, it's only growing and growing in use. So the question I have for you today is, how can you use AI to become more efficient and more effective with your marketing, with your listing descriptions? And I've got 3 tips for you today that if you stay to the end, I'll actually share my custom GPT with you. So for those who haven't met me, my name is Chris Cox, and I am the education director of Level Up Learning, a small little real estate school here in North Carolina. And I have also been just diving into technologies really since even before I was in real estate. So it's been a passion of mine, and today I want to share how I am using AI in my business, because it's not going anywhere. It's not going away. You know, just embrace it now so that you don't get left behind like so many people were with the emergence of social media for real estate. So let's dive into these 3 tips on how we can use this information. So again, we're going to talk about 3 ways that you can use AI for your business. Specifically, we're going to go over how you can use a profile, how you can create buyer profiles for potential listings and really wow your clients and make sure that they are just like, you go to a listing presentation, you show them, here are the 3 most likely buyers, why they're those buyers. You're just going to wow and differentiate yourself from the rest of the pack out there. So that's number 1. Number 2, I'm going to show you how you can create a custom relocation guide. This is going to be, you know, rather than just hand them a generic relocation guide, you can really customize it to their specific needs. You know, if you got someone who wants to move to a similar location, this process really helps them visualize what a move might look like for them, and just it reduces that friction of a cross-country or a cross-state move for them. So that's number 2. And then number 3, I'm going to show you how I created my custom GPT to help make listing remarks. So rather than having to go through a lot of trial and error, I have gone through some of that trial and error for you, and I'll share that for the 3rd tip of the day. So let's dive into the first one here. And show what we have. So again, this is talking about creating buyer personas for a listing or an upcoming listing. So my prompt in this was very simple. And of course, you'll be able to, as you do it more and more, you'll get better at prompting, creating better prompts so that you'll be able to get better output from ChatGPT. So all of these, I have a paid account with ChatGPT. It's worth it to me for the $20 per month to get that. So my prompt was, identify the top 3 target buyer avatars for an oceanfront vacant lot in Topsail Beach, North Carolina. It's going to be listed at $900,000. It immediately comes back with the 3 most likely buyer profiles, even what their potential professions are, where they may live. It also comes up with real estate investors, local luxury vacation rental developers. So, you know, again, that's profile number 2. And this profile number 3 are relocating retirees. So now when I go to this listing appointment, I can say, you know, here are the 3 most likely buyers, why they are interested in this, and how I'm going to market to them. So again, just a fantastic way for you to really differentiate yourself in the market. A couple other examples of that. So, you know, the more you put in, the more you're going to get out. So here's one: identify the top 3 potential buyer targets for a 2022 luxury townhouse located in downtown Raleigh. They'll be listed for $1.2 million. The more you put into the description about it, the better avatar, the better buyer profile it's going to make for that. So we've got the high income urban professionals, empty nesters, downsizers, relocating professionals from larger metros. So again, you go into a listing appointment with this information, you are going to wow the heck out of them. So give that a try, get it to do what you want to do. Again, as I scroll down, it even shows like why, you know, what type of ads you might be creating if you're going to target them. So, you know, once you have, you know, the avatar perfected, now you can say, yeah, go ahead, please create the ad messaging for each one of these groups. And it's going to create that potential ad messaging for social media, for lead generation, but also to help sell the property, to really, again, differentiate yourself. So that is tip number 1, and how you can use AI. Hopefully you'll start using that. And I'd love to get your feedback on if that is useful to your business. So as we're talking about that, if you're liking the stuff that I'm putting out here on the YouTube channel, go ahead and like this video. Give me a subscribe to it so you can make sure you don't miss out on the videos that I'm putting out there. Sometimes they're technology, sometimes they're real estate education based, but I like to put out weekly videos, usually on Fridays for that. So the second tip that I wanted to give, as I said, is going to be for those relocation buyer. So, you know, this is a guide that you can give that's going to customize specifically for what they're looking for. So let's just say I'm talking to this couple that's coming from a suburb of Phoenix, Arizona, or this family that is going to be moving to the Raleigh area, and they want to be in a similar type suburb. So creating this custom relocation guide allows you to, again, differentiate yourself and gives them a better feel and visualization of what life may be like with a cross-country move. We know there's a lot of friction in that move. Part of what I think our job as real estate brokers is to, to help lower that friction level of making that move. So let's go into what that might look like. So here is a prompt for that. So I scroll up here. As a real estate agent, you're working with an early 30s married couple who are from Peoria, Arizona. It's a suburb about the size of Cary as a comparison. Looking to relocate to the suburbs of Raleigh. We need to suggest 5 potential areas for them to look at, the comparison of similar lifestyle options for them, including restaurant, outdoor life, and daycare options. So again, the more information you're able to give it, the better output it is going to be able to give to you. So it gave top 5 Raleigh suburbs to consider. It also gave why this matches Peoria. So I thought that was a fantastic little extra tip there. Types of restaurants they can get. Then as I scroll down, you got the rest of those 5. Then it kind of gives the comparison of Peoria versus these suburbs, and tells you, hey, you're looking at a 20-40 minute drive currently to the city. You're also looking at a 20 to 40 minute drive in these suburbs to the city, again, depending on where you're at in them. So then ask me, would I like to put this into a PDF? I go on to say, hey, I really wanted some more direct comparisons for this so that we're able to say, hey, ABC restaurant is kind of the equivalent here would be XYZ restaurant. So again, helps lower that level of friction and helps them feel more like that, visualizing that move a little better. So it goes on, it did a fantastic job of this. Now it says, okay, now we've got Bond Park in Cary, North Carolina. That would be comparable to Rio Vista Community Park. Now, I've never been to Peoria, Arizona, so I can't tell if this data is good. However, I did follow it up with an area that I am from, and the comparisons were pretty good. They weren't perfect, but they were pretty good for again, an area that I knew, so I knew that specific comparison there. So it gives, now it gives me comparisons for restaurants, gives me comparisons for greenways, potential daycares. Now we've got recreation. So again, it's comparing all of this stuff city by city. So again, as they're thinking of where they may want to make a move cross country to, we're able to give that to them. So now as I get down, it's able to create this downloadable PDF guide. So just check that PDF, again, as you give it better prompts and gives you better output, you're able to get better results from a downloadable PDF. So now this is a guide. You could send this custom relocation guide to this client. And again, that's going to so differentiate you from someone who, even if they are providing a relocation guide, it's generic to the area, not specific to them. So great differentiator potential in the market. So that is number 2. So hopefully, again, you're getting some good stuff out of that. If you found that useful, give me a like again on this video. Give us a subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like that. But now let's finish off with the third one. So this was one of the earliest things that I used AI for. I've always disliked writing listing remarks for my listings. I always found it very tedious and never really found it very beneficial to my time to have myself write those. So I started putting that stuff into AI, into ChatGPT. It would write some pretty good listing remarks. Now what you're seeing is a lot of people are using it, and it's using a lot of the same words over and over and over and over again. It also doesn't have logic built into it to not use family. So anything that you want to avoid from a fair housing perspective, it doesn't know how to avoid that. So what I have done, and one of the things you can do with ChatGPT is you can create a custom GPT. Now with these custom GPTs, you're basically training it to deliver on a consistent output for you based on the inputs you have. So what I've done is I've created a process where you as an end user, and you'll be able to access this GPT, this custom GPT, in the description of this video below. But what it does, it prompts you with a bunch of questions on a property, and it will, from there you'll be able to use that to create a listing description for a property. So So let's dive into this custom GPT I built. So again, you can access this through the description here. You could also go to Explore GPTs and look for perfect real estate remarks. That is what I have titled this. So what this is, again, this is just going to be your custom GPS and say, let's get started. So that's all you got to do with this, and it will prompt you again through that whole process. So what this is going to do is going to ask you a step-by-step list of questions rather than you having to put in one giant paragraph. It is going to list you type a question step by step in the process. So, what type of question, what type of property are we looking at? It's going to go how many bedrooms, bathrooms, area, subdivision, indoor, outdoor features, all of that kind of stuff. And then it's also going to ask you to upload photos. If you have the opportunity to upload your photos, I would highly suggest that, because it'll be able to read and analyze those photos and may pick out some great, colors to put into the description. I had a listing where I had a double-sided fireplace. It knew that it was a double-sided fireplace and put that in the description, even though I had not put that in description. So you'll be able to go step by step through the process, and then you will get an output. So it's going to go, even going to ask you, what type of tone would you like for the remarks? You want warm and welcoming, luxurious and refined, professional and straightforward, or some kind of other thing. Do you have a target audience in mind? So here's, you could even put, if you followed step one or tip one here and created that buyer avatar, you could kind of include your buyer avatar. So it'll put the tone towards that type of listing remarks. And then finally, do you want to include a call to action? I've attempted to program it so you wouldn't want to put something in like, hurry up, this won't last, but you've got, schedule your private showing today, or whatever you want to put at the end of the listing, or it will put its own language at the end of the listing for you. Once it does all that, it's going to give you very quickly your listing description that you can copy and paste. Of course, I highly suggest, or I would also require you to review this, make sure that there aren't any words in there that you don't like, or just there's anything, it's not perfect. It could potentially put something in there that could still be a fair housing violation. So you want to make sure that you remove that kind of stuff. Also in here, I've noticed here with cozy and then nestled, those are two, I think, very overused words in our listings that make me cringe when I see them. So I asked it to kind of get rid of those in there. You could also ask it to, maybe recommend replacement for words for that rather than just taking it out completely. So we got that. And now, if you're in a market where they have a limitation on the character count, I think most MLSs now have unlimited characters, but I remember back in the day where you had like 500 characters to describe your property, and that was, sometimes a very challenging thing to do there. So, so that's the third custom GPT that I've created. Again, you can create any kind of your own custom GPT that you want to for your business. So again, hopefully you like this video today. Go ahead and check out this other recommended video that I have for you if you want to learn more about just what we have to offer here with Level Up Learning. Again, we specialize in CE classes exclusively at this time. We'll be adding post-licensing in North Carolina and maybe even a self-paced pre-licensing course down the road. So thanks for watching. Again, hopefully you found this useful, and we'll see you next week on the next video. Bye-bye.